Assalamu alaikum everybody, and welcome back to the Sam Martin Burr Show. This is episode 8, and a very warm welcome. So in this episode we're going to talk about 5 Instagram accounts you need to know for learning the Arabic language. Like, firstly, it's really good to surround yourself with the content, generally. Like, if you get to a position where your algorithms on your social media accounts are feeding you educational content, like that's a big step forward. Right? Like, there's a lot that the Arabic student can do to make sure that their kind of default settings in their lifestyle are such that they have opportunities to consume education in whatever language they're learning. So that's another reason why I'm mentioning this with Instagram accounts. I probably will do other episodes in the future if this is popular for, YouTube channels I'd recommend, podcasts I'd recommend, TikTok accounts I'd recommend, and all this kind of stuff. But for this one, let's get into it. So I've chosen these guys, number one, because they do specifically Instagram so well. Like, there's lots of content creators who are good on one platform but not on others. And I've chosen these guys because they do Instagram specifically really well. Like, they really understand the platform, they really understand how to get the most out of it, and they just create really appealing and really good educational content on there. And then the next thing is that they're active, right? Like, they actually produce new content regularly as well, which is why I've chosen them. So the first one is brought to us by a friend of mine, actually, a brother called Habib Ali. He's been a guest on a couple of my shows before, actually, not on this channel because this is a relatively new channel, but he's been on a couple of my podcasts before. If I can find those episodes, and I'll link them up in the description below. But Habib Ali and his wife, they're the founders of Ihsan.Arabic. So Ihsan Arabic is IHSAN.Arabic. Yes. So, and you can always recognise them because they're a very specific kind of lime green colour. They kind of own that colour. Like, it's got to the point that even if I see that colour, like, in the real world, I'll think it's one of their adverts or something, because, like, they use this lime green colour. Like, it's really sort of memorable and everything. But like Habib Ali actually went to university with me, as did his wife. Like, they're both graduates in the Arabic language. They both studied in Palestine like I did as well. And, they cover lots of really interesting stuff. Their content is really good, and there's lots of kinds of Arabic language gems they put in there, like things students who are interested in things like etymology and language roots and stuff like that. They're really good at that kind of thing, and I'm really into that stuff too. So I'd definitely recommend Ihsan.Arabic. At the very least, go and follow them just to support them and stuff, inshallah. The next one is the Arabic Mastery Academy. It's all one word, but it's written exactly how it's spelled. There's no funny spelling in there or anything. Yeah, Arabic Mastery Academy, because they have a series on there that I really like called Translation Fails. I think it's such a beautiful thing to celebrate the mistakes. It's something I've missed out on a lot in my journey speaking and learning the Arabic language, being afraid to make mistakes and not just embracing them. And they're such a good way to learn as well, because they have an emotional connection to them. Like, if you make a mistake, you feel a certain way. You feel whatever it might be, embarrassed, or you might laugh at yourself, or whatever it might be that you feel. But regardless, the mistakes are a really, really powerful way to remember bits of grammar and vocab and stuff like that, and how they're used. So they have this really cool series on there, called Translation Fails. So you should go and check that out. So once again, that's Arabic Mastery Academy. I don't know who runs that account. If they see this video, please tell me that you run Arabic Mastery Academy on Instagram, and put yourself in the comments below, just so we can all meet you, inshallah. The third one that I'd like to talk about is Arabic Workshop. So I do know who runs Arabic Workshop. So it's a friend of mine. The CEO is a brother called Ryan, and he's actually been on the Sam of Somalia channel. I did a show over there with him a few years ago. And he's the CEO of Arabic Workshop, and Arabic Workshop is really... It's really well put together. I really like how they've approached it. Lots of us Arabic teachers, we kind of come to the market and come to serve the students by being like, I'm an Arabic teacher, let's find students. But what Arabic Workshop have more done is they've looked at the problems of the community, and they've thought, right, students have a problem with speaking and listening. There's so much grammar and reading and writing out there for Muslims, especially to learn Arabic, but we've got a problem, right? So how do we bring their Arabic that they're just doing on the page at the moment and bring it to life a little bit more in a speaking and listening context? And they've thought, well, how do people learn best? And there's tons of research behind why whiteboard animations are so good for learning. So they use whiteboard animations. It's just the team have really done things right, and they have a specific voice artist, they have a specific person to write the scripts, they have specific people to do the animations and things like that. It's for an Arabic language company, they're very, very well organized, and they really dot the I's and cross the T's, which is something that I think that we lack generally as an industry. Lots of us are, individuals, independent people like myself who just kind of turn on the camera and we just bring our best rather than taking enough time to take a step back and think, what do the students really need? So Arabic Workshop have done an amazing job of that. So I highly recommend Arabic Workshop. I think they are Arabic Workshop everywhere. I think they have a YouTube channel and an Instagram, and and obviously it's arabicworkshop.com as well. They've got an app that you can download. There is a free trial on there as well, so you can go and check it out. And I highly recommend that. Like, not even just their Instagram account, to be honest. Like their whole service and their app and everything. It's a really, really good product. Cool. The next one that I like is it's called Arabic.online, but Arabic is spelled with a Q at the end. So Arabic with a Q .online, because they're really good at doing these like nuance series as well. Like one thing that I remember seeing on their account recently is a series on friends. Like there's lots of different words for friend in Arabic, like whether it's sahib, khalil, sadiq, whatever, right? There's lots of different words for different kinds of friends, and it's really useful for the students to, number one, get to taste how deep and nuanced and rich the Arabic language is. Like, first and foremost, things like that are a celebration of that, but then also in very practical application of the language too. Like, those series are just really useful, and the art is really good. Like, I don't know if they have a graphic design background or whatever, but the artwork is really good, and that's the sort of thing that I mean about them being specifically really good at Instagram. And then the last one is taqweem.institute. So taqweem is spelled TAQWEEM.institute, right? Taqweem with a double E, not an I. That's run by someone called Hamza, and now that account's been going for a little while now, a good few years, and I've kind of had conversations with Hamza before, and he's not an Arab, by the way, he's an Indian, but his command of Arabic is just immense. Like, it's just phenomenal, right? Like, there's on the whole page, there's tons of really useful phrases, and I don't know if they're doing it at the moment, but they'd kind of have different topics for each day of the week. They give you a really useful phrase about talking about technology, talking about social media, talking about business, talking about whatever the topics might be. So, like, I just found it really good to improve students, not only vocabulary, but bank of phrases that they can reel off at will. So I highly recommend that. So just to run through those guys again, it's going to be at Ihsan Arabic and ihsan.arabic. Number 2 is Arabic Mastery Academy, all one word, spelt exactly as you would expect. And the third one was Arabic Workshop, all one word, spelled as you would expect. And then the fourth one is Arabic, spelled with a Q on the end and not a C, .online. And then the fifth and final one was Taqweem, spelled with double E, .institute. That's run by Ustad Hamza. Ustad Hamza actually has his own Instagram account as well, actually, so you can go and follow him as well. But those are just 5 of the guys out there who I highly recommend. I think they're doing awesome stuff out there, so may Allah bless them, and may Allah increase them in their knowledge, and may Allah make their efforts a huge source of barakah for them. Ameen. So that's everything for this episode. In our following episode of the Sam Martin Burr Show, we are going to have a specific video on studying Arabic at SOAS, because I've had a few people email me, and even some of my students have considered applying to study Arabic, an Arabic language degree at SOAS. So I'm going to do a whole episode on that, like what the module options are, what the experience is like studying at SOAS, what the teaching level is like, what the program is like, what the actual course materials are, what other study opportunities you have the year abroad, how much it costs, what other costs are involved in studying, at like a university level. And I'll try to have a guest in that episode. Like I might see if one of the guys that I studied with would be available to come and be a guest on that episode, because it'd be nice to have our two perspectives. Or even someone from another university might be interesting sometime. Like if there's someone out there who has a degree in Arabic from Exeter or from Leeds or St Andrews or Durham or Westminster or somewhere else that offers an Arabic language degree, then get in touch with me, inshallah, and we'll do maybe a few episodes on that, on good options for studying Arabic at degree level, because it is a good option for lots of people. So we're going to get into that in episode 9, inshallah. We do have an episode 10 lined up too, but you guys will have to wait for that. So see you guys then. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.